On this week's episode of Premier Preps, it's championship week in boys volleyball. We've got highlights from first and second round playoff baseball and the final week of the regular season softball. Plus, I'm joined by a championship guest in Whitney High's multi-sport star, Tylie Kitchen. Premier Preps in 3, 2, Welcome to another episode of Premier Preps. I am your host, Nick Pecoraro. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with us this week. And by the way, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I hope you're getting spoiled and pampered, as you should be, as you watch your babies do some great things right here on Premier Preps, of course. We're going to start this week's show with some Sac-Joaquin Section boys volleyball championships. All 4 divisions playing for titles on Saturday. We're going to bring you the Division 3 matchup between Christian Brothers, the number 4 seed, and second-seeded Vanden. These two teams have only played each other once before, and that was in the 2022 playoffs, where Christian Brothers eliminated Vanden in the semifinals. But this time, it was for all the marbles, the Division 3 final taking place on Saturday at Cosumnes River College. Christian Brothers and Vanden for the D3 Sac-Joaquin Section Championship, and this right here is what all the fuss is about. Here we go. First set, CB comes out swinging as Hunter Mark Antonio takes a feed from Nolan Nguyen. But Vanden claps back as senior Christian Ting fires one off the block, too hot to handle, but this first set would go point for point. Nguyen, that cross-court set is a thing of beauty. Mark Antonio hanging and banging to give the Falcons a brief lead, but set 1 would go to Vanden, 25-23, as Andre Aguilar serves up a winner. Vikes up 1-0. Set 2 now, Vanden with some defense. Ifani Onwazambe and Dallas Pabon team up for a big stop at the net, but the Falcons were keeping receipts because on the very next play, Preston Raby sends this one back, and once again, we have a tight score throughout the second. Tavis Spencer had 39 assists for the Vikings. Here's one of them to William Ianacho. Vanden has an early lead, but Hunter Mark Antonio on the hunt for set point, and he gets the kill, and we're all tied up at 1 game apiece. Set 3 now. Dallas Pabon had a strong game with 11 kills on Saturday, but CB again hasn't answered. Jacoby Rugnow, the baby-faced assassin, gets the ace to put the Falcons up by 5 midway through the third. But Vanden claws back again. This point from Ifani Onwazambe gives the Vikings an 18-17 lead. But CB sophomore Philip Morozov hammers it home late, and the Falcons take a 2-1 lead. In the fourth, check out this hustle play from Dylan Hong, leaving it all on the floor to keep the point alive, and it would pay off. Vanden gets the point and starts to build some steam. Great play by Hong, and then another big block from Christian Ting, and the Vikes lead 20-14 in the fourth. But the Falcons' feathers were never ruffled. They come all the way back to take a 23-22 lead, and here's championship point. Nguyen to Morozov, and that'll do it for Christian Brothers. The Falcons are your Division 3 section champions.
It's a dream come true, man. I've always dreamt of having this hat, and I've always wanted to put my name on the board, out on the maps and all that. And the fact that I'm able to make history tonight like this, I'd say that's a dream come true to me. I think my mission is complete at CB.
Well, congratulations to Christian Brothers for earning their second Sac-Joaquin Section championship in boys volleyball. They're going to try for their first ever NorCal title starting this week. But first, let's check out the rest of the champions who were crowned this weekend. starting in Division I. The Pleasant Grove Eagles shock the top-seeded Jesuit and prevent the Marauders from a Section 3-peat. It's the first blue banner for the Eagles in their first finals appearance. In Division II, top-seeded Rio Americano hasn't lost a set in its last 15 matches, and that gives the Raiders their third section championship, their first since 2016. The Raiders beat Del Oro, the 6th seed in the D2 bracket. You just saw the Division III banner go to the Christian Brothers Falcons, who as a 4 seed become the lowest seed to win a blue banner this year. The Falcons go for a NorCal crown later this week. And finally, in Division IV, the Futures Knights, who only had one playoff win before this year, march all the way into the section finals and beat Ben Holt of Stockton in 4 for the program's first ever blue banner. NorCal playoffs begin Tuesday with semifinals on Thursday and regional championships set for Saturday. Well, championship season has begun across the baseball fields in the section as well, and make no mistake about it, this area is rich with talent, always has been. But there's one school in particular who hasn't always been known as a baseball school. But first-year head coach Taylor Maxwell has set out to change all of that for his alma mater, Inderkum. The Tigers were in search of their first playoff win, trying to put themselves on that baseball map in the section. They'd have to do so against a gritty River City team in the 8-9 matchup in Division I. The 8-9 matchup in the Division I bracket, Inderkum looking for its first ever playoff win, River City in town trying to spoil the party, and the Raiders strike first. Top 1 catcher Nate Petz with a 2-out RBI single driving in Bryson Kramer, and just like that, River City leads 1-0. But the Tigers respond in the bottom half, runners on for Kai Jaquez. A soft liner into right drops in and scores Jackson Norton, and it's 1-1. The next batter, Ty Miramontes, makes a tough play for an infield hit. Van Froling scores. Inderkum goes for 3 in the bottom of the first, and that gave Van Froling a lot of comfort on the mound. The UC Santa Barbara commit strikes out the side on 10 pitches in the second, 9 Ks overall for Froling. Indy goes back to work at the dish, and after a shutdown inning, Froling trying to shut things down with his bat. An opposite field RBI double makes it 4-1 Inderkum. Now here's an important moment in this game. River City pitcher Nicky Rodriguez gets the comebacker for what they think is out number 3, but the umpire calls catcher's interference, and it's the right call. As you can see here, Kai Jaquez gets a piece of the catcher's mitt, so he gets first base, and that was a huge call because of what happened next. Ty Miramontes with another comebacker, but he hustles and forces an errant throw, and a run comes home to make it hurt. But Inderkum wasn't done in the second. Travis Outing drives in 2 more. What could have been 4-1 at the end of 2 is instead 7-1 Indy. But credit River City, who would scrape its way back into this game. Just like in the first inning, Nate Petz drives home Bryson Kramer, and the Raiders get one back. Nicky Rodriguez gets some help from his defense. Jalen Dawson skies one out to left, where Tanner Mayberry says, "Do not come into my airspace." He face plants, but holds onto the ball. RC wins the inning and goes back to work. Bryce Sabatke delivers an RBI single in the 4th to make it 7-5, and then in the 5th, Mayberry, he had that great catch in the 3rd. Now he brings the Raiders to within 1 with a double. River City just keeps chipping away. They win 3 straight innings, but in the bottom of the 6th, a key 2-out insurance run as Drew Brown beats out the throw on the fielder's choice. That makes it 8-6 Inderkum, and then Miramontes trying to close it out in the 7th. He goes 1-2-3 for the 8th-seeded Tigers, who earned their first playoff win in program history.
I think it was all on our mind. We had to complete a 5-game win streak in the last 5 games of the season in order to make these playoffs. We got hot and we stayed hot, and we brought it to this game. And we just had in the back of the mind that we want this game, we want to make history, and then just be ready for whoever's next.
Now don't worry, we're not done with our playoff baseball coverage this week. We have more highlights and bracket updates later on in the show. But first, we have to talk about the final week of the regular season in softball. And with the playoffs starting this coming week, you can't talk softball playoffs without talking about Whitney High School, the reigning Division II champions who took on another playoff-bound team in the Roseville Tigers this week. Both teams have two of the top sluggers in the section in Bella Tonso for the Tigers and Maya Flint for the Wildcats. Both of these teams hooking up in non-league action on Monday. SFL champion Whitney taking on Roseville Monday, doing whatever this is to get ready for the game. I used to do something like that in college, but for a different reason. But that's neither here nor there. We'll pick things up in the top of the second. Bailey Reynolds nearly sends this one out of here off the bottom of the fence for a leadoff double, and that gets a rally started for the Wildcats. The very next batter, Emma Rabe, gets it done with an RBI knock right back up the middle. 1-0 Cats. Another run is in on an error, and then Alyssa Flint. They call her Peanut, and in a jiff, Whitney leads 3-0 after 2. Meanwhile, Wildcats pitcher Hannah Duncan, the Fresno State commit, strikes out the side in the third. Duncan was handing out donuts through 3 innings. Top 4 now. Whitney with runners on second and third for Madeline Novello. She sends one down the line and left. Her second double of the game scores Emma Rabe and Bella Harper. 5-0 Cats. And how about some defense now? Third baseman Tylie Kitchen, the birthday girl, just turned 17 and showing off the leather at third. Roseville trying to get something going in the fourth. The Tigers have one of the top home run hitters in the section in Nevada Reno-bound catcher Bella Tonso. And I don't care how good your defense is, nobody's catching that. Tonso's 14th of the year, and the Tigers are on the board. Cats threatening again in the fifth. Bella Harper at the plate, but Roseville right fielder Sierra Hanna has a beat on it. She makes an incredible catch. A run scores on the sac fly, but a tremendous effort by the freshman in right. Now back to the birthday girl, Tylie Kitchen, already with a single and a double. She didn't bring a birthday cake, but she did bring a birthday rake. A triple shy of the cycle on her 17th birthday, and the Cats lead 8-1. But Roseville's not going away quietly. Bottom 6, Bella Tonso at the plate again. She drives in Carissa Avila and Kylie Crossman to bring it to 8-3. And then in the bottom of the 7th, Roseville's still trying to rally. Abby Knopp drives in 2 more to make it 8-5. But Hannah Duncan re-enters to close the game out for Whitney. 12 Ks for Duncan. But you know we had to talk to the birthday girl, right? Happy birthday, Tylie Kitchen.
Thank you. Usually I'll wake up in the morning, my parents will make me some pancakes for the age I am, and then they'll put a little softball next to it every game I have on my birthday. So I don't know, it's a pretty cool tradition, I guess. I think we're on a roll right now. You know, the bottom and the top of the lineup just keep hitting and getting runs in and scoring our big players, and then our pitcher Hannah and Paige, you know, they just keep working every day. Everyone's working hard at practice, everyone's working hard in the games. You know, we're just keeping going so we can get on that roll to playoffs.
Well, what a performance Tylie Kitchen had on her 17th birthday. Just a great season overall. She's a huge reason for championship success at Whitney for both basketball and softball. And you know what? That warrants her some time as a special guest here on Premier Preps. She was nice enough to stop by and chat this week. Check it out. Tylie Kitchen, already with a single and a double. She didn't bring a birthday cake, but she did bring a birthday rake. A triple shy of the cycle on her 17th birthday, and the Cats lead 8-1. Well, this week's guest is a junior at Whitney High School. She is a San Diego State softball commit, but she's also a 2-time Sac-Joaquin Section champion in basketball, and she's looking to help her softball team go back-to-back in softball once the playoffs start here later this week. An all-metro selection for both sports. I'm very happy to be joined this week by Tylie Kitchen. Tylie, thank you so much for joining us on Premier Preps this week.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
I saw you guys earlier this week on a Monday, and it just so happened to be your birthday. And
Yes.
you had yourself a nice little day, 3 for 4, just the triple short of the cycle. And then you went yard again the following day against Rockland. Quite the week for you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to have that experience on your birthday. It doesn't really happen a lot, so I'm very honored to be able to have that opportunity to do that.
Speaking of celebrations, I noticed you guys have a couple that you have when you're having a good game, you got the little kind of
Yeah,
airplane thing going when you round third after a home run. You
yeah,
got the little boot scoot heel click with Alyssa Flint at short whenever you're on defense. You
yep.
guys seem to have a lot of fun together.
Yeah. Me and Alyssa, we play all the time. We actually are in the same travel ball team also, so we kind of see each other all the time. Our chemistry is just it's just great to have that at third and short. Every time we make a play, it's just we're so proud of each other, and I'm just proud for her commitment at Boise, just everything she's worked for. She's a great teammate to have behind us.
Well, next time I come out to a Whitney game, I'm gonna have to work on that little heel click thing with you, and we'll try to get that going.
Yes, that sounds good.
Well, you guys are wrapping up the regular season this week. Playoffs are right around the corner. How are you feeling about the way you guys are playing when it counts the most right now?
I think we're really locked in right now, just of how the way we're playing, how we're pitching, how we're all hitting, just everyone, including, bunting and running and just being ready and stuff like that. I think, we're a really hard team to beat and our competition is really high. So people come and they play us and they're ready. Like we're gonna see the best of the best because everyone wants to beat Whitney High School, which I think is just a great honor to have, and I think we're ready for it.
Coming into this season after winning it all and having that experience, what do you take away from last year that you're going to apply coming this postseason?
I feel like coming into the very first time when we stepped on a Sac State softball field, we were all kind of starry-eyed and we were like, yeah, we got this kind of thing. Like, this is really cool. And so now we know what it takes to get there. So I think it's just a matter of working hard and having fun.
Well, speaking of championships, you were part of the back-to-back section basketball championships, like I mentioned in your intro there. What was that experience like for you? I mean, to go back to back with the basketball team, and also, what is something that you have in your skill set that you take from one sport and kind of apply to the other?
It's really cool to do that once, and to do it twice is just something you don't see often. It's just a really good experience. And then going back and then going into softball and then having also that kind of competitiveness and being able to do the same thing is just it's really incredible how good Whitney High School is in that kind of sports, and just how all of the people that have contributed, like they're with us through that thing, and we wouldn't be here without them. And so I really think just going into basketball into softball, it's really hard just to like get back in that rhythm and kind of stuff. So I feel like once I get it, we just go, and it just has a lot to do with the passion, I think.
If you were to ask me that question about what I think you apply from one to the other is your toughness. Like, you are one of the toughest players I've seen, evidenced by when you broke your nose during a basketball game or in league play
Yeah.
earlier this year, and then you came back in and finished the game. I mean, I wasn't there, but I read all about it, and that's just shows what kind of warrior you are out there. And is there something to wearing a mask like that on the basketball court? Does it take it up a notch or two?
The first time I ever wore it, I kind of was a little hesitant about it, just because I've never worn it before. It just felt weird to have something on your face. But getting towards the season, it felt like an extra padding to me, so I could go even harder, which made me feel 100% better. Which it was more fun, and just even all of my teammates, they knew that if they got me the ball, I was gonna do something with it, and then help them, and then maybe pass it out, and then they'll do something with it. So I feel like the mask just kind of contributed to the fact of, yeah, this is good. I have more protection. I can go harder, kind of thing.
When did you start multi-sporting?
I think I started really young. My parents signed me up for all sorts of sports, like pickleball, swimming, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like, my dad played baseball. I just really found the love for the game when he taught me it every single day. He worked hard just to get me to where I am today. My mom, just everything she contributed, I feel like it was just when I was really, really young, just putting me into those kind of sports and just like making me to the person who I am today.
Well, you are just a junior, but you have made a commitment to San Diego State. What led you to that decision?
I mean, the first time I ever saw the actual school, I just knew it was home.
I went there. I loved the weather, obviously, because when it's 60 degrees here, it's 75 there. And it's just the school was great. It's got a great kinesiology major, which is what I really want to do when I grow up. And then the coaches, man, they were just great. They would just talk to me like I was actually one of the players. They were so nice. They talked to me about everything that they would do, and just the players, everyone, the culture basically around they were just great. I just knew it was for me.
You're going to be playing against a lot of your current Whitney teammates in the Mountain West Conference when everybody gets to college. How often do you guys talk about that?
I mean, we kind of brought it up. We bring it up once in a while. Hannah will talk to me and she'll be like, "Yeah, we're gonna play each other." It didn't really hit me until Alyssa Flint actually committed to Boise, and I was like, "Wow, we're all gonna see each other once we get there," which is funny. Which means after senior year, we're not done. We're still gonna be able to like talk to each other and be there and just hype each other up, even though we're probably on different teams. But I just really thank everybody, just Hannah and Maya and Alyssa and Maddie, everyone that contributes to our team. I just feel like it's a really great experience to be able for them to come back and be even better. Maya with 11 home runs, and Peanut with just Alyssa just with everything that she does and just line drives, and Maddie with her just getting up into bat. And, I feel like it's just a great experience to be able to have those people behind you. And for them to be able to just do what they do is just really incredible. And I just think it makes us the team we are today.
What do you usually do for the summertime? What do you do with that, like travel ball or anything?
Yeah, I play travel ball. I play for Lady Magic Walling. It's a great program. Everyone, they get all the likes that they get all the looks, the colleges. I mean, I just have a lot of fun there. I really found a love for softball just of being able to get to that next level. So I feel like I more put in work into softball when it comes to like summer and stuff like that, and actually trying to get into colleges. But basketball helps me get in shape, which is also good for softball. So I love doing both. But it's easy once you get good at it and trying to multitask everything and having homework and summer and then having to do two things at once. It was hard at first, but once you get used to it, it goes pretty good.
So you've kind of made a habit of coming up big in really big time games. You hit a home run in last year's championship game, a home run in the game to win the Sierra Foothill League this year, a home run on your birthday, and not to mention all the big basketball games you played. Is it just something that comes naturally to you? Is just kind of playing under pressure like that, or where does that come from?
I feel like through all the years of being able to have that kind of moment of being in those moments of where, you got to get on base, you got to get a hit, you just got to come up strong. I feel like I've been in enough of those moments just to be able to have that kind of calmness with me. Just be like, yeah, I got this. I'm not going to let the game get over too big for me. If you throw me a strike down the middle, I'm going to swing as hard as I'm going to swing and try to contact it next to the ball. So I just feel like it's a great experience when I get put in those situations, kind of that thing. And I think it makes me a better person.
You and your teammates may be rivals in the coming years at the collegiate level, but it's certainly been fun watching you guys play as a unit these last couple of years, and we certainly wish you the best of luck when the playoffs start this week. Tylie Kitchen, thank you so much for joining us on Premier Preps. I promise to have that heel click down the next time I see you guys.
Yeah, thank you. I've had a really great time. Thank you for having me.
Well, big shout out and thank you goes out to Tylie Kitchen for hanging out with us this week. She's a great player, a fantastic kid, and worth a follow on social media if you would like to do so right here. I'm sure we haven't seen the last of the Whitney Wildcats softball team as playoffs begin this week. Well, playoffs is the key word right here, and we showed you some baseball coverage from the first round earlier in the show. But now we're going to switch over and get into some quarterfinal action in Division 4, where the top-seeded Casa Roble Rams had a first-round bye, but in the second round, they had a familiar opponent in the 8th-seeded Woodland Wolves, a Golden Empire League rival who eliminated Casa Roble from the playoffs last year. Could the Rams exact some playoff revenge, or would the 8th-seeded Wolves be on upset alert? That game Thursday in Orangevale. To the Division 4 bracket we go. Golden Empire League rivals Woodland and Casa Roble going at it. The Rams are the top seed in D4 Woodland knocked them out of the playoffs last year, and they're trying to do the same this year. Bottom 1, David Tanner gets the backwards K to keep the Rams' bats quiet in the first. And top 2, Dylan Johns singles and tries to get something going for the Wolves. Runners on first and second now with 2 outs, but Casa Roble's shortstop Ian Pietros gets the easy out at second to end the inning. Still scoreless heading into the bottom of the second, where a whole lot of craziness happened. Scary moment here, though. Runners on, nobody out. Connor Campbell with a bunt, but the throw is wild and causes a big collision between Campbell and second baseman Joe Cadott. Campbell is the Rams quarterback. He might not have seen a hit as hard as that on the football field this year. A run scores for the Rams, and everyone would be okay. The next batter, Ben Tercero, lines a single to left to score Chase Sommer, and it's 2-0 Rams. Still nobody out when Ian Pietros lays down a bunt. The throw to third gets away, and after that big collision at first, Connor Campbell scores because around these parts, he's known as Connor freaking Campbell. 3-0 Casa, but the inning would continue. Tyrus Vogt skies one out to center for a sacrifice fly. Tercero tags and scores, and the Rams lead 4-0. Still just 1 out in the second, but this is what really blew the doors open. Starting pitcher Jacob Schreiber. How's this for helping yourself? What a time for your first home run of the year, a 3-run bomb, and the Rams put a 7 spot on the board in the second. And of course that calms the nerves going back out to the mound. Schreiber with 8 strikeouts in total on Thursday, and the Rams go back to work at the dish. Bottom 4. Joe Dexter takes advantage of the shallow outfield, a 2-out double, and that sparks another Casa Roble rally. 2 batters later, Ben Tercero, 2 for 4 on Thursday with 2 ribbies, including this one. He shoots it out to right, and the big fella, Brian McElroy, one of the Rams' offensive linemen, chugs home to make it 9-0 after 4, and that was more than enough for Jacob Schreiber, who goes the distance with a 4-hit shutout. And top-seeded Casa Roble rolls into the D4 semis and gets a little payback on Woodland for last year's playoff exit. Jacob Schreiber, how you feeling?
That was just nice. That was my first home run this year. I didn't think it was gone either off the bat, but just got up there. I hit it really high and just backspun it out of here. It felt great. Yeah, we're just gonna come out practice tomorrow, just reset completely. Like, just gotta stay focused for every game, take it one game at a time, and just know that we're the team to beat. Like, we got dudes. We're just out here to compete. We're gonna just trust everything.
Well, the baseball semifinals are officially set. Those games are going to start on Monday with best-of-3 series throughout all 7 divisions to determine who goes to the championship games the following week. Let's take a look at who's left standing. In Division 1, top-seeded St. Mary's will battle Oak Ridge, while Rockland will face defending D1 champion Franklin. There will be some elite pitching on display from all teams in this bracket. In Division 2, top seed Whitney has reached the section finals 2 years in a row. The Wildcats will have to get past Elk Grove, which has 11 blue banners of its own. Granite Bay going for a section 3-peat. The Grizzlies begin the semis at second-seeded Wood Creek on Monday. Perhaps the most intriguing bracket, Division 3 has 2 defending section champs in Oakmont, who won it all at D4 last year, and Central Catholic, last year's D3 champ. Oakmont takes on Foothill Valley League rival Lincoln, while the Raiders take on Valley Oak League rival Oakdale. You just saw Casa Roble punch its ticket to the semis in D4. That is where the Placer Hillmen await. Both of these teams reached the D4 semis last year as well. On the other side, 12 Bridges earned its first playoff win in program history on Thursday. The Rhinos will try to punch their ticket to their first section final against the second-seeded Wheatland Pirates. To D5 now, top-seeded Bradshaw Christian hopes to get back to the finals, riding a 26-1 record into its series with Somerville, while defending D5 champ Sutter travels to number 2 Houston to begin the week. In Division 6, the first bracket that isn't all chalk, the 8th-seeded Argonaut Mustangs upset top seed Bear River on Wednesday. They now face Ripon Christian, who moved up a division after winning it all in the D7 field last year. And number 3, Vacaville Christian takes on defending D6 champ Leroy Green Academy out of Natomas. And the smallest school bracket in D7 features top-seeded Woodland Christian taking on Turlock Christian, a section finalist 2 years in a row, while Valley Christian Academy of Roseville hosts number 7 Rio Vista, the only other real big upset of the first round. Again, all semifinal series are best of 3. Games will be on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. Well, that's going to do it for episode 12 of Premier Preps. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with us this week. We are in the thick of playoff action for all sports now. Baseball, softball, all coming up next week, including NorCal Championship updates in boys volleyball, so please tune in then. Another special thank you goes out to Tylie Kitchen of Whitney High School for hanging out with us. Special thank you goes out to Jordan Georgeson of Gold Country Media and Aline Salerno of Lenny's Pictures for letting me borrow some photos this week as well. And once again, happy Mother's Day. Special shout out to my mom. I love you, Ma. And another special shout out goes out to the mother of my children, my Hall of Fame wife, Becky. I love you. Happy Mother's Day. I can't do any of this without your blessing. Happy Mother's Day, baby. Until next week, I'm Nick Pecoraro, and this is Premier Preps. Thanks for tuning in.